So this is 11.1b. A cross-section is just the intersection. You don't necessarily need to write this down, but if you want something to refer back to, the intersection of a solid and a plane. Okay, so where a plane and a solid intersect. So here's my solid, and let's start with this solid. Here's my solid, okay? We would call this a rectangular prism. Basically what we're saying is if we took a plane and we sliced through it, what shape would that plane meeting this solid make? Okay, I'm going to draw you a quick picture, and then we're going to talk through what some of these would be. But here's kind of a visual to help you understand a little better. So if I give you a triangular pyramid, a triangular prism, sorry, this is not a pyramid. And then I take a plane and I slice through it. So I'm going to make my plane, and this is really hard to draw. You just have to kind of use your imagination a little bit. So if I do something like this, cutting through it, so that where it actually hits my figure would be right there, right? The plane's cutting through. So my cross section is a triangle. Okay, when I go through a triangular prism, okay, this way, I'm going to get a triangle. Okay? This is a better one. Okay, if I go through like this, right, my shape is a triangle. You can see it there. Can you tell me what shape would it be if I go through this way? Not a triangle. It would be a rectangle, right? If I were to cut this figure in half and then open it up and show you the surface that you see, you would see a rectangle, okay? So that cross section would be a rectangle. What about, do you know what this is called? It's a cylinder, okay? If I did a horizontal cross section through this cylinder, what shape would you get? A circle. What if I did a vertical one? Not a half circle. It'd be a rectangle, right? So if I cut this in half, opened it up, and showed you what was there, you would be seeing a rectangle. I'll just give you a quick picture to try to help you see what I'm talking about. So here's our cylinder. Okay. If I were to take a plane, I missed the middle. Try that again. Okay, and cut through like that. Basically what you'd be seeing is this rectangle. Okay, so that would be your cross section for a cylinder. Questions on that? Okay. So what if I gave you, what's this called? It's a cone, right? Looks like an ice cream cone. If I went vertically through a cone, what shape would your cross section be? A triangle. What if I went horizontal through a cone? Circle. Would your circles all be the same size? No, the higher up you go, right, the smaller your circle is going to get. Okay? Okay, anyone name this for me? No. A hexagonal prism. Okay, when it's three-dimensional figure, it's a hexagonal prism. So in a hexagonal prism, if I go horizontal through this hexagonal prism, what shape am I going to get? A hexagon. What if I go vertically through? It's a rectangle, okay? And depending on where you go through, if you go through the middle, it's the biggest rectangle. If you go through toward the front, it's going to be a smaller rectangle, okay? What if I go vertically through a sphere? A circle. What if I go horizontally through a sphere? A circle, right? Did we hit all the main ones? Square pyramid. How about vertical through a square pyramid? Triangle. Horizontally? A square, right? If you cut through this way, you would have that square. Okay. Second and final example then is this. This is like example 5 in the book, if you like to refer back to things in the book. The other one was like example 4, I think. They are going to ask you to draw cross-sections. Draw the cross-section. Formed by a vertical plane intersecting, sorry, this is really long wording, but it doesn't take that long. The right and left faces, and they give you this cube. I'll give you a second for those of you that are drawing. And you will draw a few cubes in this lesson, so give it your best shot. If you want me to show you again how I do it, I can break it down for you. I'll just come show you individually. Okay, so they're saying a cross-section that is vertical, okay? So that's one of the key components. It has to be a vertical cross-section. So the plane's going to go through up and down, and it's going to intersect the right and the left faces. So it's going to go through this square somewhere, and it's going to go through this, this square somewhere, okay? So vertically through those two, there isn't one right answer. There could be a lot of different versions of it that you could see. Sorry, I'm going to take all those red pieces away so that I'm not confusing you. But one option with this stuff is majority of the time you're going to draw parallel lines. Okay, so if I have to go vertically through, I'm going to draw parallel lines that are vertical on the left and the right face. Okay, so let's say my first one is here. Okay, my second one has to be somewhere on the right face, so I'm going to put that one here. Well, my cross section then is just connecting those endpoints. So I'm going to connect up here, and I'm going to connect down here, and that makes my cross section that square. Okay, so you'll have to draw the cube, and then you'll have to draw the cross section in it. You don't have to use different colors, but I feel like you see it better if you do use different colors. So if you have multiple colors or do pen and pencil or something like that, that can be really helpful. Okay, so that's one option. Another one that you could do, let's say they say that you need to go through the top and the front faces. And they don't say horizontal, vertical, they don't specify that this time. They just say, give me the cross section that would go through the top and the front faces. What did I say you do oftentimes with these? Draw what? Parallel lines, okay? So now you have to think about that. How could I get parallel lines that go through the top and the front? And in order to make them parallel, we would have to draw them horizontal right now. So I'm going to go a line through the top and a line through the front. Notice where we're stopping, okay? You don't go past the borders of whatever surface they're talking about. So on the front, you only draw through the front. Don't keep going over here past it, okay? You keep it within those borders. So I draw my top and I draw my front line, and then you just connect your endpoints. So I'm going to connect here on the right, and I'm going to connect here on the left, and that gives me this rectangle. Okay? So it's kind of like you're cutting a chunk off, and what would you see? One where you don't draw parallel lines. would be if they said go through the, say they said top, front, and right. You can't really draw parallel lines through the three of those. So instead, if you do top, front, and right, you're actually just making a triangle. Top, front, and right would look like that, and then your cross section would be that triangle. So it's kind of like taking this and you just shaved the corner off. Okay, but you would get a triangle from that one. So that's all you're doing today. You're naming cross sections or you're drawing cross sections. Any questions on that? Okay, are we out at 9:05 on extended?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 9 o'clock. Oh, they changed it, huh? Didn't it used to be 9:05?
Yeah.
Maybe not. There's two what?